didn't see that one.
Are we live? Are we good?
I feel like that's gonna be intense though.
Hello. Trust, we've had a band playing right here. Those boys with the instruments.
Yeah.
And like we actually rapped over. Yeah. Are we on?
Just talk, dude.
Okay, yeah.
So we're on, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
What up, Cape Town? Another amazing day here. I don't know. every time I come into this place, because I don't really live in this place. I live like in the farmlands, and
Work in those fields.
the drive into this place every time is amazing. I feel like I'm in like the greatest place on earth.
No, 100%.
If you've ever been here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's ocean, there's mountains,
Crazy, eh?
there's everything. So how's your week been, guys?
Mine's been unproductive at work.
Unproductive. Just to give everyone a background, I know last week we like jumped into it and it was kind of like, you know, with no real preparation. Or there should never be preparation, but
Just be
each of us
surprised,
should at least tell the people what we're about and what we do.
Exactly.
Just so they have an idea. I'll go first. My name is Michael Peterson. As you know before, Mikey is what they call me. An actor, rapper, just an all-round entertainer, involved in all sorts of entertainment. Former MMA fighter, still do a bit of training as well. Just a real good guy. And I'm all about entertainment. That's where this podcast comes from. It's all facets, all corners, and that's what I do. So that's me. And Darren, what up?
It's the Darren.
I work in advertising, the worst industry ever. I do rigging and character modeling. Apparently I need to speak louder.
Yeah.
And that's, I want to start my own thing one day.
It's all good. You're right.
Yeah, me, I'm all about creativity. I'm a lover of design. There are eight design principles, and I have respect for all of them. At the moment, I'm doing graphic design, involved in graphic design and architecture. So that's me. I'm all about the creative scenes. If you want to know what is the next creative design workshop or seminar, just let me know. You can put on a comment and I'll link to you.
Yeah,
That's me, yeah.
And I think the cool thing about it is like we're all doing something, you know, and that's what makes like coming together to do a podcast so much better, because you know, like people with no ambition kind of slow you down, and now if everybody's just sort of pulling their own weight in whatever industry, it inspires you to do just a bit more. You know, you always want to, it's almost like friendly competition. You want to just, you want to be good, you want to be on your toes, you know, all your friends are on their toes, they seem to be doing things, so you want to do that as well. And that's why you always have to surround yourself with those kind of people, you know. But what a crazy week though.
Lots of stories, there's a lot to conversate about.
We all saw the news.
The country is alive. The country, especially with the rugby also.
The rugby, that's today. New Zealand, right?
New Zealand and South Africa.
New Zealand versus South Africa. That's where it's going down after this. Once we're done with work. I say work, but this is fun though.
Just enjoying ourselves.
Oh, it is kind of work. If you think
work
about
for
it.
you.
Yeah, because it's in entertainment, but it's also we involved with inspiring people. You know, nobody looks at guys who are like 26 and 25 and go, those guys are really going to inspire me, unless they're driving around in Lambos and stuff like that. But
then that's trust fund babies.
we all know about them trust fund babies.
The thing is, this is the process. The process is documented, because I just heard another dude, like a motivator guy, got successful, and all of a sudden he's getting a lot of response, like how lucky he is. But he's basically saying that from the age of 14 to 30, he's been working his ass off, you know. And unfortunately, he doesn't have that documentation. Where we believe and have the faith that we're going to be successful in what we're doing. That's why we have the process.
It's all about like the creation process. I mean, if you really break it down, like think about the whole process. It's simple. You think about something, right? You have that idea, you see it in your mind, then you write it down so it becomes words. So it goes from thought to words. Either you write it down as like a goal or you tell your friends about it. But then to create that to finish that circle, you have to do it.
Yeah.
The doing is the experience.
100%.
You know what I mean? And like, so when people like they think about something and they write it down, that's only like 2/3 of the process. Like 2/3 of the process, and that's why you got so many people who have ideas and shit. They write it down, and it's like, oh, this is great, but they never do it. But that is the main. That is the experience part, and that makes it real. That's how. You know,
Yeah, it's all fair and well, like just writing this stuff down, but if you never actually do it, then there's no point.
there's no point at all. Anyways, so look at, we had a crazy week. We had an extreme week.
Yeah.
For people of South Africa, I mean, if you looked on the news everywhere,
It's like a revolution.
it was a revolution basically.
Basically say it's a revolution.
It's just the beginning.
It's
though.
only the
That's what-
beginning. It's only the beginning. And it's a wake-up call.
To everyone. And I think people around the world can also learn from this. In whatever country where you feel like you are being like suppressed anyway or anyhow, you know, it's just this, learn from this. I mean, there's obviously pros and cons of the whole thing, but learn from this. So to fill people in, basically what happened was the government, they do like these price hikes every year. They increase like a certain percentage every year. And so they wanted to increase the funds of the students by 10%. And that is,
in bits, eh?
that is a lot of cash, you know, especially when you look at like a student's life. Okay? Most of the time people are fighting between, am I going to pay rent or am I going to eat?
And that's just for education, eh? Besides transport and food.
You know, so students already have it kind of tough. Obviously, they'll work at like restaurants here and there as a waiter. They obviously bring in their own sort of funds, but it's still a tough life as a student.
Yeah.
And then it's actually kind of disrespectful to go 10%, you know. Anyways, then the riots basically started. People marched on the Parliament building. Cops went crazy. You see, this is like the whole thing when you look at decisions based on like one of two sponsoring thoughts.
Yeah.
It's either love or fear.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
Yeah.
And the cops acted out on fear.
Yeah.
You know, and they started shooting them with rubber bullets and throwing stun grenades, and it was just like back in the day of like 1976 when the same thing happened. I mean, Darren, you were talking about it the whole time. I mean,
Was I though?
I don't know.
I don't agree with the fees not going up, because like teachers' salaries have to be paid, but I agree that they took a stand.
Yeah.
Like the government should pay more money towards universities.
There's a response, you know?
Yeah, like I don't think the fees should be dropped. The government should just give more money to the universities. So the
Yeah.
students don't have to pay more,
Yeah.
but the university's still sticking with inflation.
Yeah.
Because like teacher salaries need to be paid.
Look here, come on,
Everything goes
guys,
up.
let's be serious. We know where the money's going. The politicians, the ministers, they're the ones who are blowing all the cash. That's why there is no cash.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like there's a shortage.
Yeah.
They are spending big
100%.
money, and then at the end of the day, they look at the budget and they go, oh man, we don't have enough money for this. So let's, you know, then they, instead of thinking of themselves, they put it on like other people. So they'll put it on the students. No, the students can pay more. But they don't look at themselves like, you know, we actually spending a lot of cash on our own things, you know? I mean, how many... I was reading something, the whole Prasa thing, you know, with the trains.
Yeah.
The CEO, he stepped down. Then they found out that he wasn't even qualified for the job.
Yeah.
But yet he ordered like those new trains he ordered, which weren't, they don't even fit they're not even the right size for our tracks. Was like...
They were too high.
Yeah, there was something like 3.5 billion they spent or they bought from Spain to get those trains. Then they find out he's not even qualified for that position. Plus, he's the highest paid that they've ever had in that position.
Yeah.
And then he just casually he resigns, and then, he leaves, and now he's rich now. He's a rich guy now. And this is the cycle that they do in this country. I mean, we know it. They have friends, they make them rich, and then, they resign, and this is where the money's going.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not even like hidden or anything. This is in our faces. So, life is about cause and effect.
Yeah.
If you cause something to happen, you're gonna have an effect. And the effect was the protests and things. I don't agree with the vandalism, but sometimes you have to go through war to get peace. It's all relative at the end of the day.
But sometimes people just go so into it that
Yeah.
they just.
I agree.
It's the adrenaline.
It's all.
Yeah.
Like they probably didn't mean to just do some of the stuff they did, but
Yeah.
Look, obviously you got the whole side of like the spectrum. You got people who are, I mean, everybody's fighting for the same cause, but now you got people who approach it a little bit more peacefully. Then you got people who go all out crazy, animalistic, primal, and they break windows and they flip cars because that's their way of dealing. It's not like it's wrong or right.
Yeah.
It's their way. It's their expression of the same protest. Of the same thing. But it was an important moment for everyone. I just completely disagree with some of these people on Facebook. I mean, some of the white guys. I mean,
you can't take what people say on Facebook seriously though.
I know,
Like it's the most useless source of social media.
but it's the one that pisses you off the most.
It does. Like
You see, the thing is, you got to look who's going to be like the new leaders in the next 10 years, and I mean, all those guys are in their mid-20s or something, like in tertiary education, 23, 22 and upwards. Now you look in another 10 years, those guys are going to be sitting, where these government officials
Exactly.
are sitting. So at the end of the day, I mean, it's just a start, to more powerful things to come. And they are looking at places where they're going to protest, like the airport and that, because it's a major transport intersection. If you stop that, then you got everybody hearing you. But for now, it's going to be on a mellow buzz. I think they're going to start next year again. With the marching, and of course, one should also remember that the whole world is with us, because England and Germany also done a solidarity march.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we should use their networks. Understand how Germany doesn't pay for education, and what's that procedure?
You see,
You know what I mean?
Because they think ahead and they go like, this is basically their thought process is, these are the kids who will one day be running the country. Let's get them as educated as possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you have these educated people following you once you retire.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously, people who don't want to relinquish power will keep people uneducated so that, they can be in power the whole time.
Yeah. But it's a major thing that the leaders should come with creative ideas, and we should be part of that. Even if it's interviewing them in a talk. Wow, what are their next moves? To be connected.
But I mean, look at the whole thing. The president didn't even come out to address the people.
Mm-hmm.
Fear, scared.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That he was scared.
Talk to your own people. Yeah.
Like a leader. I mean, isn't that why you?
That he was scared, or did he just not care?
I mean, you don't even.
I feel like it was that he didn't really care.
Probably because you saw that Blade Mzimandi guy.
Like, yeah.
They were playing the blame game. Who's to
He's
blame?
like, he was even saying,
Stuff
students must fall. Like it
like
makes no
It was
sense
like
that.
a joke to him.
Yeah.
It makes no sense that.
And And the thing
that
is,
you
like,
wouldn't
at
help
the
your
end of the
people.
day,
I don't know.
like, whether you are a young entrepreneur and busy with a company, you know, and in the next 5 years when you start employing people, that the businesses also get involved, you know, young entrepreneurs also get involved in students' education, you know, like,
should.
and we the government or what can reduce the tax levy on companies so they can hire out students and then pay for the education, and in the process the students is given a service back. You know what I mean? So there can always be this surety of that there are going to be guys in the future part of the economy.
Yeah. But you were there though.
Yeah.
That must have been crazy.
Look at the thing is the whole week, right? Me as a student part of Cape Tech, and I'm assisting I'm part of the architect department, the student body there. I'm assisting them. Next year I'll be part of their body, and the thing is the whole week I was trying to get into my building. My mind was concentration on work because I'm also busy with private work and stuff. But then on the Thursday I wanted to see for my own self what is all this talks about.
Yeah, the fuss.
And then I went to the main campus, and then what happened was the Bellville Cape Tech, the Bellville campus was there, and the Cape Town, and then there were talks about, okay, are we going to march to the other campuses to make sure that they're also protesting? So we marched from the main campus, right, to Sea Point. That is shit far. And you must remember, like,
that CPUT.
that it's the whole Cape Town campus and the Bellville campus combined.
Where is the Sea Point campus?
The Sea Point campus is the beginning of Sea Point after Waterfront. So it's just the beginning.
Is it that restaurant?
It's the restaurant hotel which wasn't striking. So we went there.
Why weren't they striking?
Eh?
Why weren't they striking?
No, because of course they wanted to continue with work because it's the end of the year exams, right? So the students' focus is on exams. The pressure comes in with the leaders of the bodies, you know. So they educate the students, you know, and the members of the body, you know, who are pushing it and getting students to march. So that campus is very far where the activities are in town. So we marched too, you know, and every time we marched, the police was trying to break us off.
Yeah.
But we persevered, you know.
And for people that don't know, it was 10%. Then this was the price increase was 10%.
Yeah.
Then the government was like, okay, we'll give you 6%. But this is the win here, because now there's a 0% increase because of this protest and this march. So I mean, it wasn't for nothing.
Yeah.
People need to celebrate this, actually.
Yeah.
And I mean, even
They're
this.
still pursuing it. It's not ended now.
Yeah, it's a start. It's a start, and it must, like, in terms of people who are interested in the revolution and what students stand for, we have to align ourselves with the people who are in government, officials, having those meetings and having on the podcast and stuff like that, you know, because it's useless to just say your opinion on Facebook with no productivity.
Exactly.
There has to be a productivity behind it, you know, whether it's you building contacts. Because remember, okay, in a business sense, in my sense, is that when I went to go in March, I was thinking, okay, fuck, am I wasting my time? I can go to the public library and do my work and stuff. But in my thoughts, I was like, yo, but these dudes are gonna one day fund my projects.
Exactly.
So I'm the only light guy, skin guy in the march, you know. And at the end of the day, in all cases, it's a mean of who's your closest relevant. you know. So if let's say they fund a project, they're going to say, okay, we need an architect, we need this, we need that. They know me. It's because I was part with
you were
their
the guy
vibe.
in the march. I saw you.
Yeah.
Remember when we pushed that car over?
Yeah. You know what I mean? So and it's a matter of making that connection that you standing for their cause and they standing for your cause. They might not know design, I might not know politics, but at the end of the day, we the future. And to see my thing is all about integration, you know, and to see like from day one, like a designer not being used as a puppet by the government or by powerful leaders, that the designers can educate, you know, the leaders about the process.
Yeah.
You know, instead of saying, okay, the leaders of course are the guys with the money, and then they just use the professions as puppets. But if the puppets can be with the puppeteer on the same table, then it's a win-win situation, because the both can learn from each other, and it's all a matter of being in the process with these movements and that, you know.
Don't you think it would have been nice if the private institutions also joined?
Yes,
Because they never showed a lot of that. Like, yes, they don't get funding from the government, but like a lot of people go to those institutions because like they have no other option.
Yeah.
So like it would have been nice if they still joined in.
Yes, like it's
Like private institutions, like you don't need that high requirements to get in, because like they don't really care.
Yeah.
But yeah, just think it would have been nice if they joined in.
And the thing is, like I said, there is a start happening, right? The start has been done. It's just I think like in what the listeners, right, the audience would like to see is where we interview a leader, you know, who was maybe with the president in the talks, because they took all the leaders, student reps of all the universities and the principals of the universities, and had them under one bubble, you know. So everybody was probably flown over to go and talk, you know, to the president. So we should get in contact with one of the dudes, you know, and just to make it a productive vibe for the broadcast, you know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting nonetheless.
Yeah.
Speaking of the broadcast, we out here, Whale Street today at Motherland Coffee Company. Coffee's quite good here.
Solid.
I'm not plugging it, but I mean,
Solid.
You're not really a coffee drinker, though.
that's the thing. I don't even like coffee, but this here is a mochaccino, which has like chocolate syrup in.
Yeah.
I think it's like a hot chocolate coffee.
Yeah, but but I never put sugar in.
Yeah.
And it was
You're not meant to.
Oh, aren't you?
No.
And it was quite nice.
what's also-
but wait,
yeah,
before
go
you
for
go
it.
on there, it's interesting. This is like the mochaccino, right? But if you look back at like, I'm gonna go off topic quickly.
Yeah.
If you look back at like where the history of coffee, right? I mean, it's coffee's from Ethiopia. Okay. Back then it was known as kufa, and coffee comes from the Arab, or it's known that the word coffee comes from the Arabic word kawa, right? And basically how it actually got founded was there's this a shepherd, and his goats would eat the berries where the coffee bean comes from. They would eat that, and you would notice how energetic they were. Every time they ate this, he would be like, look at these
what the
goats.
fuck is happening here?
So then he was like, he took it to the people, and he's like, yo, check this thing out.
Yeah.
And that's coffee actually started spreading from Africa.
Yeah.
And basically, how it happened was there was this master of this order.
Yeah.
It's a Muslim order known as the Sufi.
Yeah.
And this guy is known. He's known as a dervish, and basically a dervish is someone who vows to take a life of poverty and like austerity.
Yeah.
So like simpleness and like very stern, simple life. And so he took coffee beans to Yemen, which is in Saudi Arabia, and then he took it to this the seaport in Yemen called Mocha.
Yeah.
Right? And he became known as the dervish of Mocha.
Yeah.
And that's where mocha comes from.
Yeah.
You actually always read in coffee shops.
Yeah.
Like I had the mochaccino.
Yeah.
That seaport is called Mocha.
Yeah.
So and then coffee actually spread throughout the world through Islam. Because it was known as a religious drink because it would minimize your sleep.
Yeah.
So they thought that was close to godliness.
Yeah.
Because you're not sleeping, you're energetic.
Yeah.
And wherever Islam went, coffee went. And then obviously from there, it spread throughout the world. But I mean, I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Coffee spread better than religion, basically.
I just want to, I don't know what research you done on facts about what's happening with the strikes and that, but I was interested in how the Europe countries got some education for free. And basically, it's the taxpayers' money that they use for the funding. And here's a couple of countries with statistics on their tax. It's Germany, Finland, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, and United States. So all your countries that's over 30% in taxation, they have the enough funds for free education.
But United States don't have free higher
not
education.
Not everywhere.
Like United States,
it's not. Look here. This is the bubbles that they're showing. So United States starts with 31.5%.
Is that how many have free education?
No. This is the tax that they do on people, right? Where they will do a tax. Look, South Africa is between the margin in the early 20%, right? So we not like our people from the poor backgrounds, they are not taxed, you see. So that's also another way.
But look here, you must also remember in these other countries, the government isn't squandering the cash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like our money's being thrown all over the place.
They're using up. You people, there is enough money, but these guys are just using it up.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Germany is the highest percentage for free education on tax. It's 49.3%. You know, so what was the process to get the public, with the state? Because at the end of the day, it's all about letting the public know of information, and I would like to do some research about the process on getting free education in the Europe places, and maybe we can do some Skype talks, with
sky's the
people.
limit.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we live in an internet world, and there's no barriers.
Exactly.
And of course the Europeans would like to know what's going on here, and what's going on here. So I mean, it's interesting and it's exciting times that we're living in, and the main thing is that there has been a stand put up.
Is that that chart that you have? Is that education for schooling, or is that like university?
No. This is countries that are being taxed for free education.
Because United States has like one of the highest university costs in the world.
Yes, no, most definitely so.
Like everyone in America has student loans.
Somewhere in America it's probably free education, but that we have to look at, because the research what was here is where the percentage of household being taxed.
And look, you guys must remember that the ANC promised free education in their last campaign. This is one of the things.
Yeah.
And they just went against that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not even, when people are like, oh, how can you ask for free education?
Yeah.
But they told us they were going to give free education. That was a part of their campaign for people to vote for them.
Yeah.
But politics not just lies.
Of course it's lies. But I mean, so it's like, I mean, think about it. If someone says they're going to do something, they get you on board, then they don't do it. Of course you're going to go ape about it.
Yeah.
But anyways, but I mean, guys, what I don't even agree with the whole presidential thing, to be honest. Like this whole thing of where one guy leads us and we look to him for all the answers. I just think that takes responsibility away from the individual.
Yeah.
That's all it does. Why do we need this guy, isn't it primitive to have this leader who he's in charge and, we vote for him and he's going to guide us?
Yeah.
I don't think that whole thing works anymore.
Like for me, we have the internet, right? And we live in a time where the leaders, I feel they should have like their own live TV show to see what they're doing. So if you want to know what your president...
For people listening to all that things in the back, we're in Cape Town and it's very festive here, so...
Yeah.
Taking the vibe.
If you want to know what your president is doing, other than the newspapers and that, you can go and watch the TV. It's a good idea.
How would it be though? Would it just be like...
what his movements are, where is he going, what meetings
so
is he going to?
it's not going to be at his house while he's eating dinner.
We can also have it like that, a 24-hour,
But is it
I
not
would
just
like
going to
to
become
see-
like the Kardashians or something?
I would like to see more debates between just presidential candidates throughout the 4 years that, constantly see this guy's like what he has to say and how he fares up against other guys who want to be president.
Instead of us, it must be transparent.
That's,
what I mean?
That's what everybody wants, transparency.
It's transparency, yeah.
What if all the parties just ruled
Became
the country and if one had...
That's like in America, 2 parties.
Yeah, but
we got all these little parties.
Yeah, but what if they all just... they all ran the country, but if one had an idea that needed to be pushed, then the country would vote on it. They wouldn't vote on a president, they'd vote on ideas from a party. Yeah. So like legalizing weed.
Yeah.
Like the party wants to legalize that.
Yeah.
Then the country would vote on it, and if there's enough votes, then that would be passed.
Yeah.
It's like anyways. Oh, sorry, I was gonna rant about something. Because look here, all the people out there, there's so many studies. If you have cancer, marijuana will clean that shit up. Okay? It kills 99% of cancer.
Yeah.
Just like, and it's dumb for us all to just turn a blind eye because that's what other people are telling us to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to go off on that. That's for another podcast.
Yeah, and what I feel like in our next podcast that we should, like with the topics, like interview a person who has access, to that topic,
Yeah, definitely. We're working slowly up there, but
But what will be interesting is when they have these young leaders at Parliament, then each leader like represents like a community or something. And it would be cool if we had our podcast also in there, the broadcasts, you know what I mean? And it will be,
TM.
guys, look here, it's only October, right? There's 2 more months for the year to end, and it's a matter of when you sit in with ideas and your team associates also sitting with ideas is to support one another. I got another thing that I'm doing, and there we support each other. Mikey has this podcast, and we don't know what it's really about, but we've been educated in the process. You know what I mean? So it's a matter.
We're doing our own educating.
You know what I mean? And in
like, look, I'm reading all the time.
We emphasizing a lot on education. I was hearing this interview what Bob Proctor. When he was still young, and the topic was on who are you? Like on a person, and he was emphasizing. He broke up the word. What does education mean?
Educo, it's Latin from the Latin meaning to educate oneself.
Edu is all about the you. Yeah. It's all about the use of education. So
the Latin meaning is educo.
We must just remind people in education and stuff, getting fighting through this education thing. End of the day, it's what are you gonna do with your knowledge? you know?
Here's something crazy. What about this Oscar thing? I mean, I know everybody saw Oscars out.
Yeah.
The
So,
signs were the best though.
What?
Students are going to prison while Oscars release.
Oscar's out. Oscar's chilling on the beach.
Yeah.
It's such a disappointing thing for our country, man.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
But is it not like the O.J. Simpson case?
it is. But I mean, this is what I'm talking about, things being so blatant. Like, it's clear that if you're rich and famous and you are some sort of cash cow that the industry and the governments, wherever, use to create more funds, then you get taken care of. I mean, that's how it is. You can kill someone. I mean, let's not forget, he killed someone.
Yeah.
He killed someone.
Yeah.
He killed a chick, killed her, and he's out now after a year.
Yeah.
You know?
And he's living his life.
And he's gonna be...
He's restructuring himself. Yeah.
And you know, it's all these other guys, that's the most surprising thing for me. These guys who are like, no, Oscar's gonna turn a new leaf. He's gonna be much better now. And I sit back and I'm like, wow, he's actually got...
Whether it's going to change, it doesn't matter. Like,
this is a very look at
justified
dude, this
the
is a
whole-
very interesting topic. It's gonna be a bit sensitive. Like
What?
when
Oscar?
No. It's to do with race, and it's to do with like in the murder scene.
Yeah.
When a black guy kills someone, what do we think of the black person?
The murderer.
Like we take the whole association of black and we label it like, oh, those people are always like murderers.
Yeah.
When it's a white person, there's a mental illness. Oh, there must
I know what
there
you
must be like a cause.
Yeah.
You know, the guy lost his parent. There must be reasoning. But with a black dude, it's like,
But
no,
the
these
media's
dudes do it
spinning
on
it that
daily.
way, though.
They
Yeah.
do, I actually saw a video on Facebook, exactly like that. It was fucking
And
interesting.
we have to be very open-minded, and we have to remind ourselves about the truth. The whole thing about the protesting was about education. Now the media around the world is emphasizing on violent protesting. They don't say...
No,
they
but that's how
they-
the media makes
no,
it look.
No, that's what we're saying. With the information, guys, remember, like, what is the topic that we fought for? Now all of a sudden, the first sentence is violent.
Yeah.
Immediately, you take it face
And
value.
it's negative. Now it's negative.
Now
That's
it's
how
a
you think
negative
of it.
vibe.
As soon as you see violence, you're
so
like,
in the process, what I've learned about the media is that they all work, the way how they sell their product is like with emotions and fear. So they will build you up. Oh, it was a march. These people
Yeah.
fought, and then all of a sudden they will show a photo at the end about students ramping a shop. You know what I mean? And they close you off with that.
it's all fear-based.
But like
what I
I saw
mean?
an article that said because Oscar's white, that's why he went free. But it's not because he's white.
It's
like
'cause
the
he's
media is
rich.
just pushing it that way.
He's rich.
Like that's the shit that the media does.
He's a celebrity.
Like-
It's like the same with Bruce Jenner.
Let's.
I don't wanna-
can't do Bruce Jenner, dude.
I know. I just want to like mention something. It's the same with that. Like they've thrown out his murder case. You know, because he killed a woman,
And now he is a woman.
and now they let it go. That's literally the words I read in the article. They've decided to not look into it anymore.
But that's
But it-
America. That's a whole
But
different
this,
situation.
that's where the problem comes in. Because now it's like in South Africa, it's no different now because of this whole Oscar thing. It's no different.
Darren,
and I was actually
You know,
disappointed.
Darren can actually be a comedian. To get off topic, like, do you have any jokes to say?
I don't
Look
do
here,
jokes.
You only make jokes. Now, the thing is, I'm going to tell you a joke. Like, you know, vegetarians and that, they're all about...
I consideed vegetarianism.
yeah,
as
you know,
Same here.
they're all against meat and stuff like
I
that.
might be vegan
But
sometime.
they're all against meat and stuff.
Yeah.
But they eat in the animals' food, like plants and stuff. What must the animals eat?
I don't know about that.
Just a joke, guys. Just a joke.
We can.
Just to take the tense away.
But anyway, speaking about like these extremist humanitarians, like this is what I've heard before, and it's actually true. Like those people need to be very careful about the line they walking, because at the end of the day, they are actually against human beings.
like my
If
thing
the-
is,
that's how far. When you're against like people. When you like a humanitarian, you basically against people, and they are actually against themselves, because that's when you saving a tree and stuff in front of a human. That means that you are against human beings.
You know what was funny? There was at Kailicha they were doing a proposal for public space. And now the thing is, when you come up with a big site for a design, then the public must be involved, all different sectors, the council, and they must all have like a document process of everybody's views. And one of the stuff was that the environment guy said, no, this is a nature park, we can't have houses. Remember, like the disadvantaged people is all about housing. They always want to find out how can they,
if they want to make space for houses, they can break down all those massive empty Camps Bay houses and build houses there.
Yeah,
like that's unnecessary. Yeah. Nobody needs a house
so
big.
So in Kailicha,
that is true.
They couldn't go build houses because of the birds, and then so the people living the people living there, it was like they couldn't understand where these environmentalists are coming, because you put in an animal before
the
a human
animal's
being.
not there first though.
Whoever was there, but of course, people are with a mindset of like, fuck, I'm dying, I need to be in a house.
But there's so much other space though.
You know what I mean? So this
Because
space,
people don't know. Like, I promise you, these people who are looking for houses, they probably have never been to Camps Bay and those places.
Yeah, they first thinking about the house when they sit in that meeting. How can it benefit them? So they were making like jokes and that, but it was serious at the end. Like, if humans are gonna come to that nature park, the birds are gonna run away because they're gonna think you're a scarecrow. So why don't you? There was a bit of laughs. There were a bit of laughs and stuff like that.
At the end of the day, if it's a reserve, then it's a reserve.
Yeah.
You are reserving that land for the animals.
For the birds and stuff,
There's, as Darren just said, there's so many other spots where you can have housing.
But talk about that Camps Bay. What do you want to mention about Camps Bay?
Camps Bay is beautiful.
99% is owned by foreigners.
Exactly.
That
And
never
they don't
there.
even live here. They don't even live
It's
here.
a ghost town. They rent
Yes,
it
fair
out.
enough, they bring in money into the country, but like, you're taking up space where people could use that space.
Yeah.
Like, think how big a Camps Bay house is and how many small plots you could put on that.
And it's weird how these people are exempt as well.
Exactly.
Coming back
no
to
one talks about
my profession, architecture, like there are laws restrict for certain people to live, in a certain class space. Like they will say how much what the materials can be made out of.
Yeah.
You can't go and build a house there with tin or a certain material in Camps Bay, and the plot size is to a certain size. So if you come there with the idea of a mini space for people in disadvantaged areas, then you going against the law. So immediately, like, it's this whole. My main thing when things are like this, there should be public information. You know what I mean? And
as you said before, transparency.
You know what I mean?
Let us all be clued in.
Yeah.
And maybe you can actually get some good ideas from people that aren't in the know.
Yeah. In the
quotation
know,
mark.
Yeah.
Like, Boerkaap is a beautiful place.
It's open.
And the houses are, like, they're perfectly sized.
Yeah.
They're small and they've got enough space for, a family of 3 or 4 to live comfortably.
Yeah.
Like, in Camps Bay, you've got a huge house with, like, 5 bathrooms. Who needs 5 bathrooms?
And it's like a couple that lives there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If a couple. Sometimes it's
Yeah,
just
it's
a
one
rich guy
guy.
who has, like, prostitutes come
Yeah.
every night.
Yeah.
Like,
Boats
it's
and
unnecessary.
hoes.
But funny enough, reading Napoleon Hill and that, I always thought, like, with these rich dudes and major successful people, that their personality is not always like.
What do you consider success, though?
No, I'm gonna come to that now. My thing on success is a lot of money. Being independent.
Is that though?
Is that success? Because look here, let me just say something.
Yeah.
Someone who wants to be a beggar and goes to the streets and successfully gets change every day is successful.
Now,
because that's what they wanted to do.
Now the thing is with these dudes, like, I never see them like integrating, being friendly with with everybody, these successful people, but on Napoleon Hill says one of the things is you must be like a people's person. So being that rich and not being a people's person is not. You're not sharing your knowledge.
But I think it's got to do with that whole like elitism. Like, once you get to a certain level, you feel that you better than everyone.
Yeah.
And, like they need to pull their own weight.
And the core purpose of being success is being a people's person. You know.
Like my thing of success is when I've gotten a nice apartment or a house and a nice car. And I've got 5 million rand to live off, then I will retire. Like I don't need more money. Like whenever I earn that money, it doesn't matter. But like when I've got 5 million rand to live off, like I'll retire. I don't need more money.
And that's the thing. People, they don't stop. They like
what does a person need $1 billion for? Like there's no.
Like for yourself is unless you're gonna be like
if you're gonna
like Elon Musk and actually like do innovative things with that money, then go for it. But if you're just gonna be like a hoarder and store all your cash
in a foreign bank account,
you're gonna lose it. So what I'm saying, I was listening to this dude Nightingale, and he mentioned
Earl Nightingale or Dale.
But anyway, this motivator, he spoke about what is success, what success means to him. It's like when you're doing something that you're happy about, you are of a success. A student that
there's a certain quote, man, from I think it might be Napoleon Hill.
The student that is studying his passion, you are a success because you're waking up to something that you enjoy too, and that's the same. What business people wake up to, something that you enjoy. If you're not enjoying something and you're making a ton of money, then you're not successful, man. Because then you sleep in.
I don't know. I don't agree, man. Money doesn't. To me, it's not about the money. It's about the idea.
Success with happiness, though.
Yeah, like so. If
happiness is a state of mind, guys.
When you're happy, returnally you are getting mony. Because you're attracting.
Money makes you happy. Then.
Yeah, you're attracting.
Like money is just a survival thing.
If you keep on doing your passion, looking like this is a passion. Right, talking, sharing your views. At the end of the day, we're going to be sitting in a studio. You're getting money for that. So in the return, it's this whole cycle. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you don't see this as working.
At the end of the day, the value that people are getting for what we are bringing to these podcasts, that will essentially bring us money.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like...
Andre jumping the gun. Let's just hope we get money.
No.
I'm not saying... I'm listening to I fill my head here with all these things. I'm like... I'm just talking.
Yeah.
We're just having conversation.
Because at the moment...
I would have named it Cape Talk if they didn't have that.
The thing is, like...
5, 6, 7.
The next thing...
John.
Like I told
John
Mikey,
Nathan.
then next year, we must be wearing our own brands. Even if it's a simple cap or a simple t-shirt. You know what I mean? You can be happy when you look at yourself in the mirror. People's looking at you, 3 guys with broadcast t-shirts. What is that? I also want to be part of it. I also want to listen to it. And in that way, people, local brands, people get inspired.
I think this is what I think. I think like because of the internet and because of all the information that flows around, anything can become like a business.
Yeah.
Anything these days can become a business. So even just talking into a phone like we doing now.
Yeah.
Like literally anything is a business. There's up the road here, there's a sock store that just sells expensive socks.
You see, and like try doing that. Okay, maybe socks is different because that is kind of like a commodity for your feet, but
it's socks, dude.
I know.
It's a whole store dedicated to socks.
Like for instance, 100 years ago, what we're doing now, not that it would be possible. I don't even know what technology.
Radio.
Yeah, this is essentially.
We would have had our slot in time.
Yeah, no ways.
And the thing is, when you're this like young, you have to try all these different things out because at the end of the day, the normal guy only waking up after he's 30. Is
a
gonna
lot of them do that.
You're gonna have limited time because remember you've got responsibilities. You got these responsibilities, and even if you're that passionate, right, it's gonna be 10 times harder for you. Because when you get back home, you got to cook, You got to go to the gym. You got children. When do you have time for yourself? So at the moment, we got tons of time for ourselves, but we are using it in a productive way. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is, don't be that dude after 30 and realize that you could have done a podcast, because when you're over 30, there's something else.
Look, at the end, like, in my opinion, at the end of the day, you can be any age and start anything.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, you can look here. This is what I believe. Everybody has their own time.
Yeah.
It's not like the guy who's 50 and he's only starting to, take responsibility for his life. It's not like he's wrong and we right because we're doing it younger.
Yeah.
But
everybody's on their own
their situation.
You see, this is the problem with that. When you're not thinking about yourself, you're thinking about other people. And when you're blaming other people, you remove the responsibility from yourself. Because now it's like, oh, but it's that guy's fault. But when you go, wait. Maybe everything that's been happening is my own fault. Mm-hmm. And if you look at it like that, then you go, well, if it's my fault, then surely I can change it and I can fix it.
Yeah.
And then you start looking within yourself
Yeah.
to what you need to do. And you know how the saying goes, if you don't go within, you go without.
Yeah. And the beauty of it, like reading all these motivation things, they are a lot of emphasis, like, is on, like 90% of the emphasis is on your mind. So you can be a pig or a lion or something like that, but it's all about your mind, you know. It's like so your thoughts with your mind, you can control it, right? Because at the end of the day, we can all be flesh and that, but the difference becomes in our mind, you know.
It's so, like this.
Yeah.
And we're gonna probably end on this because I need to get crunk. It's Saturday.
Bottles of white wine.
This woman out there.
Okay, Poppy.
I know. I keep doing that. Poppy, I love you. No. Okay, but this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
Every person should do this. You need to envision in your mind who is like the highest form of yourself. Mm-hmm. Who is that person like that you see yourself as? Mm-hmm. Like the highest form of you. So it's like I see myself. I'm ripped. I got the best clothes. I'm doing, lucrative things in my life. I'm ahead of my class, and you have this image of yourself, and that is the image of your highest self. And then every single day, do everything that is congruent with that higher image of yourself.
Yeah.
And if anything, thoughts or emotions or people come across, and you go, well, this isn't like congruent with my higher self, then you move away from it. Mm-hmm. You just move away from it, and you keep doing things that will make you become that person.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the best line I've heard all week. Shout out to Joe Rogan, a legend. But anyways, be the hero of your own movie. Simple. Be that star. You know.
Heroes don't stare at explosions.
Cool guys don't look at explosions. You ruined it.
I ruined it.
Sorry, Will Ferrell and Marky Mark. But that's the thing. Be the star, guys. Treat your life like it is a movie. Like whenever you walk into a place, all these extras are around you, and you are the star and the camera's on you.
Yeah.
Feel that energy and just go with it.
Yeah.
You need to treat every single moment like that.
Yeah.
And people will start to notice it, and people will be like, wow, you're so confident, you know? Your energy is just beaming. But
your personality, yeah.
That's the broadcast for today. Fees must fall, hashtag fees must fall. That's what it was about. We had some other topics as well.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to talk about the Mexicans who are going through a crisis right now.
Are they going through a crisis?
With the hurricane.
Oh, it's the hurricane.
Strongest ever recorded.
Wow. I believe that is like collected consciousness. But anyways, we'll discuss that again.
Shout out to the Latinos over there.
Shout out, shout out to every person struggling right now.
One thing about the marches, there's some beautiful African women. They are doing it. I must say, you're doing it.
So we're gonna wrap that up.
Yeah.
Another session of the broadcast. Catch us next week.
Yeah.
We all good.
Same place, same time.
All good.
Different topics. Current
Current affairs.
There we go.
Motherfuckers.